You wanna? Hey.
Hey there, pals, and welcome back to another episode of the PullBoxPals. I am Mad, and as usual, I have my pal Monk over here next to me. How you doing, man?
My goodness, that was the quickest introduction ever. You were like, I felt like you were on like baseball speed. Like, here, coming around on the first bend, we've got Monk Mangle for the Ohio shortbreads.
Some people say I would make a great color commentator for live sports. And some people say, I mean, nobody has ever said that.
So I think you would have a good baseball voice. You've got a good all-American voice.
If all these other things I'm working on don't pan out, I think I might have a career.
There you go. I do think I have the strong urge to point out that you and I look incredibly similar. We're both kind of wearing gray shirts, wearing hats. Yep. So it's a gray day here on the PullBoxPals.
And to be fair, my shirt is a little bit lighter.
Yeah. I mean, I would say it's closer to white than gray. Mine's pretty stock standard.
It's actually one of my favorite shirts that I own. I don't know if you can just see the new mic that's in my way. It says Star Wars Rebel Wear, and it kind of looks like Calvin Klein-y.
Nice.
Yeah, I like it. And then on the back of it's like the traditional like Star Wars logo. Not the one that we like know, but like from the original like movie poster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Okay. I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's very exciting.
I just don't want to turn around.
That's fair. Yeah. I wish I was thinking this today at work. I wish I had more like comic book apparel. And I don't mean necessarily like I don't want to be like walking around, and this is no shade to anybody, but like walking around with just like the Flash logo, you know. I want like I have a that Texas Blood shirt that I love.
Yeah.
So I would love more like that, just, you know, indie comics. I know Scout Comics has like they do sweatshirts and stuff like that. So
I have
definitely something I would want to get.
I'm dwindling down my shirts. Like I'm trying to, because I have so many that like I might wear a couple times a year, and then I have a bunch that I just like, oh, it's up front of the line of the closet, like I'm gonna wear it. And like I just got rid of like 2 of my Star Wars shirts, and I had that Jack Skellington shirt, like where it's like his tuxedo top, you know?
Yeah.
I got rid of that. That's not comic booky, but I got rid of that.
It's nerd. It's geek culture. How did that make you feel getting rid of the Star Wars shirt?
You know, I prepped myself for it. I said when I decided I was going to let it go, I'm like, I'm going to wear this one more time, and then it's going to be gone.
And you watched Phantom Menace?
Yeah, and I cried.
Terrific. Hey, but since we're I had 2 thoughts while you were talking. The one is I'm also trimming down on my shirts because I'm bulking up, not because I'm getting stronger, but just because my waistline is expanding. So my shirt selection is going down. But hey, it's time to buy new shirts. What an exciting time for me. But now, like I said, speaking of Star Wars, my girlfriend was at our local Salvation Army before this started, and she texted me a picture of this shelf that like some nerd somewhere turned in like all of his Star Wars books, and they were like $6 a pop, but I had her pick me up 2 of them.
Nice.
Yeah. So the first one, and I'm curious to see if you know any of these or either of these, but like I want to send you the picture then and like have you be like, get that one, get this one. But this is Star Wars Myths and Fables.
I am not familiar with. I'm familiar with the author's name. Was that George Mann?
Yeah, George Mann.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the title.
What has George Mann done?
I think he's just done a few Star Wars books.
Okay.
Maybe a few others. Like I gotta look them up because
And you'll figure it out. And
yeah.
then the last one that I got was Star Wars Thrawn Alliances. And
Oh yeah, no, that's a good one.
is it?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Um
So I
uh
felt like that was a pretty good haul for me.
the entire Thrawn like series
Hmm.
is like even so like this goes all the way back to like Heir of the Empire. Like I believe that's when Thrawn was first introduced.
Yeah.
Um and so like that's legend now. And so then they had Timothy Zahn come back after Disney bought it, and Thrawn was like the first legend character to come into canon.
Mm,
And so he wrote two Thrawn trilogies,
okay.
and they're both excellent.
Nice.
So, and then also just if you want to get caught up on Thrawn, it's he's supposed to be in the Ahsoka show.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's what I've said this before on the podcast, but I do want to read Heir to the Empire before that comes out. At least that I know it's a part of a trilogy and more, but yeah,
yeah,
would like to at least kind of have a little bit of a familiarity. I mean, I've seen Thrawn and Rebels, so like that's the version of them that they're going to be going with, you know.
yeah.
Um, but yeah. Also, I got to go see Into the Spider-Verse this weekend.
Oh yeah, and what'd
Yeah,
you think?
I thought it was fantastic.
It was
Uh,
fantastic
yeah,
indeed.
it was.
Uh,
I had this thought in the middle of the movie. I'm like, I don't think that they can do anything better with animation. Like, it just seems like it's like literally peak animation, you know?
yeah.
So
Uh,
yeah, when I was it was nice to be back in, like I've said this before, like animated stuff just works so much better for like comic book stuff.
yeah.
And especially with like someone like I really enjoyed Spot. I thought that was a great character.
It's so
Yeah.
good with Spot, and that was who voiced. Was that Jason Schwartzman that voiced him?
I can't remember. I'll look it up. You say some thoughts about it.
Yeah, no, like so just going in like the animation, it was like there was so much animation and it wasn't all necessarily the same. Like when Spider-Punk
Hmm.
shows up, like that just absolutely blew me away, and just how they brought out this like kind of old school punk like sex
Sex
pistols,
Pistols.
sex
Yeah.
pixels. Um uh like when they kind of brought out that vibe of like newspaper clippings and all that, like it was just like perfect. And the way that they carried that character throughout that movie too was just perfect as well, because he was just like, I quit.
Yeah. I thought his first like introduction was very just great how like they were just undermining him very much and just kind of it was kind of like how they did with Electro in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but actually done well and not made him look like a sociopath like
Yeah,
in his apartment eating a birthday cake talking to himself, like
yeah,
narrating like he's in a comic from the 1960s or 70s, you know, like Spider-Man forgot my birthday or whatever it was, you know.
yeah,
But yeah, you were right. It was Jason Schwartzman who
yeah, I thought
voiced
so.
him.
Which I didn't realize this. Just speaking of Jason Schwartzman, but like my wife and I recently went through like a Rocky kick, and we watched all the Rocky movies. And I always knew that Jason Schwartzman was a part of the Coppola family because, like, I know he's Nick Cage's cousin.
Okay,
But
I
I
don't
didn't
think I
really,
knew this.
yeah. But his mom is the lady who plays Adrian,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, and she's Francis Ford Coppola's sister,
Yeah.
and
And she's in The Godfather.
she's in The Godfather, yeah.
What's her name?
But yeah, like I didn't realize that she was Jason's mom, and like that was like a shocking revelation for me.
I mean, that's a shocking. I didn't know that either.
Because
Um,
I'm for the most part I'm a fan of like the whole Coppola family.
yeah, Sophia Coppola, is that right? No, that's from The
That's the
Godfather. Yeah.
Sophia is one of the
No,
yeah
Sophia Coppola is in Godfather 3. She
yeah
plays Al Pacino's daughter, whatever Al
yeah,
Pacino's
which
Michael Corleone's.
she's in real life she's Francis's daughter.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, The Godfather is like one of my favorite movies like of all time. I love
uh
those trilogies.
yeah,
People don't like number 3 as much, probably because of the incest stuff, and that's
yeah,
a fair point, but across the board, I think they're fantastic movies.
Yeah, no, I appreciate all of them, and you've even read the books. I haven't read the books.
Yeah, I've read every book that Mario Puzo, who wrote The Godfather, that everything that he has ever written. Um, and I read most of it before I was like 16, which is like the craziest thing because I
That
definitely read some stories where I'm like, I shouldn't be reading about this. Um, but all that to be said, there are some things that I should be reading, and they're fun comics.
Yeah.
I
Real quick, we got a hello from Matt Conway saying,
Hi
"Hello,
Matt
Sir
Conway.
Monk.
He's
Have a
old
great
and
podcast, fella."
oh, thank you very much, fellow fella. That's an old coworker of mine. Got a Twitch page, so make sure that you go follow him. I can't remember your handle right off the name of my head. Feel free to throw it in the chat. We'll shout it out. But he's got a
Yeah.
Twitch channel where he does cool stuff. So head over there. Just like I headed over to my comic book shop
Oh
and
yeah,
got
and
a
what'd you
big old
get?
stack of comics. This is the third or fourth week in a row that I've bought 7 plus comics. Um, and I'm like I was organizing comics this weekend. I know I talked about this a little bit on last week's episode, but I think I need to switch to digital. But I don't want to because I really like buying physical. I really like going to my shop and talking with like everybody there. But like I just like there's so many comics, you know,
Yeah.
like just swimming in them. And I guess I could be more organized with them. That's probably more my fault. But I have that CZL app, and I was scanning in all the comics that I have like sitting on my table back here, and I had over 30 just single issues just sitting back there. I'm like, that's so many, you know? And
Yeah.
then that's just like, yeah, it's like 4 weeks of that's a month worth of comics, and it's like, God, that's a lot of comics. And I consider myself to get like a small amount of comics each week, you know, because I've seen people with like just crazy stuff. Actually, today at my comic book shop, I saw a guy that had to have at least like 30, and I'm just like, that's insane. But he must go like once a month, you know? So it's like
Yeah.
the same thing I'm doing, but like I'm not as compulsive about it every week. But I really like I look forward to going to my shop. So again, that's kind of why I don't want to uh stop going. I just,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. But anyways, enough pussyfooting around. I'm gonna get into the end of these
Your
comics. So
your
this one
pulls.
is I have 2 that are in the contender for my Scout Comics Sunday. The first one is Omega Gang. And I really don't know what this is about. I actually have the description pulled up here. They call them a group of friends call themselves the Omega Gang as a way of expressing the hopelessness of their lives and their generation. Oh, that's right. So this is a comic about Gen Z, and I don't really know anything about Gen Z because I'm a millennial. I have nothing against them, but I just don't know them. And I'm always curious about the younger generation and what they're into. And apparently, according to this description, they're depressed. So I guess this is a
Interesting.
gang to go and do something. They discover a set of mysterious eggs that shake them from their usual Gen Z depression. So, okay, we're going to follow some Gen Zs on a journey for some mystical eggs. So,
And sorry, what's it
that
called again?
Omega Gang.
Omega Gang.
Yeah. So that one
And
actually
they're
looks pretty
Gen Z,
cool.
Omega. That's the last Greek
Yep.
letter. Yeah, makes
Yep.
sense.
Or I think it also has something to do with like the hopelessness of like they feel like the last generation, which is fair. Next
They
thing
could be.
I could who knows? Every generation could be the last one. But
I mean, we might be seeing an alien invasion soon, so
we
who
might be
knows?
seeing an alien invasion. Lock your doors. So the next thing I got is Death Drop Drag Assassin. And I
Yeah.
guess this is just about a drag queen that does assassinations.
Yeah, I was really hoping my shop would have it, and they didn't.
Yeah.
And it's always, like I've said before, my shop is the kind of shop, it's like if you didn't order it, we didn't get it. Like they don't get in a whole lot of comics each week. They just get like some of the big name stuff. And so if it's specifically like an indie brand, it's almost guaranteed not to show up the day that they release. And so but
It's always a bummer.
I'm hoping to get that one digitally. So
Yeah. Hey, that would just might be the way to go. I really, like I said, I really want to support LCS. But like it's just hard, to like unless you're like gonna dedicate, like I said, like I could be dedicating that closet, but like
Mhm.
it's more of just like there's a part of me that's like, why do I have these? Like I have all these, I don't really go back to them, but like
Yeah.
I would, but also I'm like I barely have time to like read the comics that I want to read now.
Yeah.
So maybe I might just have to do like a big purge and just be like, I'm only keeping the comics that like I'm sure I'll go back
And
to. But
yeah.
that seems
And
dumb because
I
I
kind
literally
of
just bought like 100 plus.
yeah, I
You
kind
know?
of have a little bit to say too about supporting your LCS because I think that's why I'm in the position I'm in with my
Mhm.
shop is because there's not enough people in my town who go support them for comics.
Right.
And so they just don't get any. And so something I did today, which I haven't done like in a while, and just showed me today just how bad like the comic community is here in my town.
Oh no.
Because I went to the next town over to their comic shop, and last time I was there, they had like a shelf of new releases.
Mhm.
And so I asked the guy, I'm like, hey, like, where did you guys move your shelf of new releases? Because they rearranged the shop. He's like, oh, the only new releases we get are for box holders.
Oh geez.
And I was just like, that is so pathetic that
Oh.
like I live in a town that like the shop does its best to bring in new stuff,
Mhm.
and the next town over has a shop that only brings in stuff if you have a box because nobody here buys like copy. They just
That's such a
buy
shame.
digital. As far like that's I don't know that for a fact. Like I just don't even know how many. I know there's other comic book fans out there in my town. I've chatted with them,
Yeah.
um, but a lot of them like do mail order subscriptions and all that, and it's just like support your LCS, man. Like it's a community building thing, and
Yeah.
it really like like I do like envy when you get a bump into like Andy at the comic shop. Like I don't get a bump into Andy. I would love to bump into Andy at the comic shop,
Yeah.
but Andy doesn't live in my town. He lives in
My
yours.
town. So, yeah, I mean, I get that. It's a struggle. But hey, I got a couple more comics here.
Yeah.
So next one is The Sickness. This is what they call a maxi series. So like something, I think it's I actually had that pulled up. It is 1 of 16. So 16 issues. Feeling sick, the man may be following you. So I don't know what this is about. The description is like reading a small book, so I'm not gonna like sit here and thumb through it or bore you with me trying to read it. But it just looks like, I love the color palette of the on the cover.
Yeah.
The intro. Oh, okay. So it turns out everything's black and white on the inside. Didn't know that. So
That one did pique my interest. I saw it a little too late to ask for them to pull it for me,
oh,
but
look at that. $6. Again,
$6.
we're talking about, comics here, single issues. It's rough. But this was one that I was really excited about. This is like, yeah, this one I was happy to pick up. Not that I wasn't happy to pick up the other one, but like this one I was like, cool. Like I've been wanting to get into this for like, actually the next couple are all that. But yeah, Grit and Gears #2. I reviewed #1 I think last week or the week prior. Really
Yeah.
fun comic about a AI robot in the
And
West.
that's Blood Moon.
Yep,
Yeah.
good old Blood Moon comics. And I think you should have got this guy, right?
I sure did.
You sure
I
did. The
sure did.
Nasty #3.
And
Did you
again
get a different color cover?
I was blessed with
Oh,
having the option of both covers again because my shop again for some reason got in both of them for me, and I told them every time like I don't know why I keep getting both. I just want one. And anyways, I looked at both of the covers, and I looked at the one that you got, and I looked at the one that I got, and I looked at the one that you got again, and then I looked at mine again, and then I looked at the comic book shop guy, and I was like, "Which one do you like better?" Because I just don't know which one to pick. And he's like, "Honestly, I would take the yellow one. Like the contrast in it is just like amazing." And like you're
that is
absolutely
nice.
right. So yeah,
I
I'm
think I did the same thing, except I didn't ask my comic book guy. I just decided to go with that one. But that was a good choice. I love when we do that, when we get when we pick two different ones. That's always fun. It means to me that says our brains working in uh in harmony together. So I don't know what this is about at all, but I saw it on the shelf and I really loved the cover. and open it up, and I really love the art. And I guess it's called Xeno. And I was just looking. It's by Chris Coden, who does that Texas Blood.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, I didn't. This was okay. So I'm like stoked about this now. I didn't even know that that was going to be a thing. But yeah, the art inside is very fun. It's like very reminiscent of like early comic books, especially the later half. Here, I'll pull up some of this. This actually might be two stories, but because the art looks like it changes, but it's pretty. I'm pretty stoked on this. So there's that. And then lastly, hopefully you got this as well. The good old The Battle for Pumpkin King #2.
Didn't get it.
Didn't get it. Oh,
I'm gonna have to order it though, because
yeah.
I still need to reorder issue 1 since I damaged mine.
That's right. So I'll tell you this. I saw this on the shelf, grabbed it, and when I got home, the first thing I did was pull this out of the bag and read it because I just wanted to confirm, will this comic break my heart? Yes, it
Yes.
continues to break my heart. So I will be, how do you say? I'll be doing a like a weekly follow-up on Battle for Pumpkin King and letting you know the status of my heart. But I would imagine it's just going to be broken because they just look so precious and like so vulnerable. And I just, I want to take care of small Oogie Boogie and small Jack Skellington. But what are you going to do? But yeah, that was all the comics that I got for the week. How about you talk about your comics now? What you get there, pal?
Well, obviously, I got the nasty #3, which honestly, that's probably what I'm most excited about in what I got.
Yeah.
But I'm also excited about this. I got Old Dog #5.
Nice.
I've really been enjoying that series. A series that I've continued with, and just like it's interesting enough to keep me going with it. But it's not like my favorite thing I'm getting right now. But Liquid Kill #5 came out this week.
Nice.
And let's see, there's a couple other things. I think Something Epic #2 came out today. I ordered that from Frank, and so I forgot to tell my shop I wanted to pull the series. So I might just have to order that one from Frank as well.
Yeah.
And then I also picked up Black Panther #1. I got the Scotty Young variants.
That's pretty cool.
I've been trying to pick those Scotty Young variants up if I see them. And then it was also just a bonus that it was a #1. So, and then I also, because of, well, actually, I knew this was coming out, but then I was very much more influenced to pick it up because of the Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. I got Spider-Man India #1.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's a really fun character. So I wonder
I really enjoyed him in the movie as well. They did such a great job of just introducing so many other Spider characters from the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Hang on one sec. I'm trying to help my kid out as well while we're live. And he's like texting me, and I just kind of
no, it's all good. I'll just keep talking about Spider-Verse. Like you said, I really loved Spider-Punk. It's definitely my favorite. I think out of all the new additions, and also really like you said, like how well they did integrating like all these new spider people with like without doing like the same thing that they did in the first one with like showing their origin and stuff. This was all just kind of organic and whatnot,
It was like very organic. Like there was, I've tried to think about it, and I probably, I'll see it again and I'll probably find these, but I was just trying to think, what was like the worst thing about that movie? Like, what did I not like about it? Like, the only thing I didn't like about it, to be honest, was just the ending, because it was like, to be continued, and just like, oh, rats. But like,
I
that's
felt
also
like
kind of expected.
I do kind of feel like the ending could have been like better cliff hung, if that's the proper way to say it, because I feel like it just stopped. There wasn't like a thing that, I guess there was kind of a thing that happened. I don't want to spoil anything. But then like it kind of expands a little bit. I think if they would have just ended at the one like reveal, it would have been good, instead of like kind of it was reveal, dialogue, and then ending. And I'm like, you probably shouldn't have had the dialogue.
it was like the ending, like when the to be continued comes up, it was like really abrupt.
Yeah.
Because I remember thinking about 10, 15 minutes before the movie ended, I'm like, man, this movie is so long and it just doesn't seem like it's going to be over yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then 10, 15 minutes later,
I literally had
to
that
be
same thought as
continued.
well. I'm like, oh man, I'm like, there's so much more of this movie left, and then it just stopped. But did you get any other comics?
Well, actually, I did. I still have yet to get one of the Scout comics that you got, the drag queen one.
Okay, the drop dead drag assassin. Yeah,
Yes, and
yeah.
then there's one other one that I'm going to get as well. I can't remember the title off of the top of my head, but then I also picked up digitally. I was influenced once again by Andy to do some DC.
Nice.
So Green Lantern #2 came out today. So I went ahead and bought the 1 and 2 on Comixology, and I'll be reading those this week,
Nice.
as well as these other 2 Scout comics. So yeah, I'm excited for those. I can't think of anything else that I feel like I missed out on. I mean, I always do, but that's kind of just part of the life of collecting comics. Is
Oh my god, yeah.
you can't get them all.
You sure can't. They're not Pokemon, and even
Mm-mm.
those they're hard to do.
Like, and it's not even a rule like in Pokemon. Like, you don't have to catch all the comics, but
Yeah,
you got to catch all the Pokemon.
yeah, you gotta. It's by Japanese state law. Um, but well, hey, do you want to dive into a comic? Do you want me to dive into a comic?
well, I feel like I should let you dive into a comic first.
Yeah, that's true. I probably
Yeah.
well, we have a decent amount, but the first one that I want to talk about is one that we've had on. We talked about issue number 1 a while back, so I won't really spoil anything for you. But this is Bulls of Beacon Hill #5, and this is the conclusion. I know that you said that you wanted to pick up the trade paperback of it.
Yeah, which I think is out in like August or September.
Okay, nice. But yeah, so we read issue number 1 sometime back and both enjoyed it like a fair bit, Then I
Mhm.
kind of fell off of it for a while, and I think issues like 2 and 3, and then I decided that I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna just give these a go, and I'm really glad that I did because I really thought like the pacing of the story and the like just the narrative became a lot more compelling and interesting. Not that it wasn't, but like it just kind of like amped up. Um,
Yeah.
but the story is there's this a homosexual ex-surgeon or ex-doctor, something like that. His name's Christopher Bolt. So he goes by, I'm gonna just make sure that's correct. I'm gonna scroll to the back here. La-ba-dee-da-dee-dee-doo. Oh, it doesn't say it. Yeah, Christopher Bolt. So his name's Christopher Bolt. His dad is something Page, Orrin Page, and he's like a crime boss in Boston. So this story is about
He's a crime Boston.
a crime Boston. Very good.
Yeah.
So this story is about Christopher kind of stepping out of his dad's like literal shadow, like all the evil things that like a mob boss would do. Um, and the fact that he's homosexual also makes his dad angry because just old conservative ways. But yeah, the story was just an essentially like a war between father and son because the dad doesn't want him to go public because it will ruin like his image, but like Christopher doesn't want people to know that he's his father's son. Yeah, so like just the dynamic between it, how Chris's boyfriend gets involved and how their mom gets involved and all that stuff. It was just a lot of fun. It was yeah, just a very good romp. Yeah, the only criticism that I have about this particular issue is that somebody gets hit in the head like full kilt with a baseball bat and
Huh.
like continues to have like granted like the lines are like wibbly wobbly, so like to like show that he's been hurt. But if you've been smacked in the head full swing with a baseball bat, you're not talking. There's nothing
No.
coming out of your mouth besides teeth, you know? That's
Yeah.
but anyways, it's a comic.
And like the expressions of shock.
Yeah, and just like if someone called 911, because if
Mhm.
you get hit in the head, but like in this comic, someone gets hit in the head and like continue to have a conversation. I'm like, no way. But that was like literally my only critique was just like, probably shouldn't have had him hitting in the head with a baseball bat if you want him to talk. But
Yeah.
again, that was my only critique. If you're into
Like the
good,
Joker said, you know, you never start with the head. It makes
never
them all
start with the head.
fuzzy.
That's right. Well, in all fairness, he didn't start with the head, but he didn't finish with the head either. I guess he kind of did. Anyways, I do think that the moral was pretty good. Pretty good. It was great. You know, the idea of, stepping out behind, like, just being yourself, stepping out and just being proud of that, and not just in more ways than one, we'll say. So yeah, if you're looking for something like that's like mob, it feels like mob, but kind of like modern, coming of age, modern, like something like that. This is a good one to pick up.
Yeah. So. No, I kind of figured for myself back when issue 1 came out, and like I'm really trying to work on like picking up more trades and not getting as many single issues.
Right.
And I just kind of knew with that one, like, this is probably something I'm gonna want to read like front to back. I don't want to like wait. Because I wait enough as it is with how many other things I'm subscribed to. So
right. And this is definitely one that will do that, because pretty much this takes place over the course of like 1 or 2 days. So just hitting it like that, I think, would be a really good experience.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that one coming out. I know that our pal Ross really enjoyed that series as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into that when it comes out. Well, something I read, and I might as well go with this one first. Because it's in the title, but I read In Hell We Fight this week.
Nice.
And so I believe this is the same guy who does Chew, which it's our pal Ray suggested that we read. Right. Still working on that one, Ray. I'm getting there. But yeah, In Hell We Fight. This was just a really fun. It was actually like more fun than I thought it was going to be. Nice. I didn't really read much about like, what the pub sum had to say about it before. I just thought it sounded like a cool title, and I really liked the cover art for it. But yeah, so it's written by John Layman, and the art is done by Jacques. It's J-O-K. Yeah. And John tells the story in the back of the book that he met Jacques at a Comic-Con, I think somewhere in South America. Maybe Argentina. Like, he went to a Comic-Con in another country. And he says, like, that's an experience like you need to have if you're like a comic book person and you happen to be in another country and there's a con going on. Like, go to it, because it's like, it's still comic book fans, but it's celebrated like in their cultural context. And that's always like a fun thing to experience. But In Hell We Fight starts off with this dude right here. The little blue guy. I can't remember the name of him off the top of my head. But he's like giving a book report in the beginning of it. And he's supposed to be giving a book report, but he's actually giving a report on frogs. And he does an excellent job at it. But she's like, you did a really great job like doing this report on frogs, but you were supposed to do like a book report. And so he like failed the thing. And he walks out, and I think he already had a pre-existing hatred of frogs. But I don't think that this onset it. But then like it's just a montage of panels of him like destroying frogs in any way that he can.
Oh, geez.
Until a demon frog shows up and drowns him, and then he ends up in hell. And nice. then we're introduced to these other 4 characters on the cover as well. And you'll see this kid has an axe in his head. So that's how he died in the real world.
Oh, boy.
And then this gal on the front, she was like the daughter of the leader of the Yakuza or something like that. And her preferred weapon is an axe. And then this other little dude, this red little demon dude, he's a demon. She really hates demons and wants to kill him, but he's a part of the group because he has a job to do. And it's just like, it's really funny in the sense that like, so the first kid, since he drowned, if something like makes him queasy or sick, like he re-experiences like the drowning, and he like spews out a bunch of water. But like the benefit of that is that like he always spews out something of like usefulness. So like they needed like a telescope or binoculars at one point. So he like was able to like vomit those out because they're in the water somewhere where he drowned.
Right.
And then like she needs axes, so she tells the kid with an axe in his head, like, give me some axes. And so he just keeps he pulls an axe out, and then an axe pops back into his head, and he can pull that one out and give it to her.
That's really cool.
So it was just like really clever in that sense. And the whole premise of this one is that they're trying to pull a heist on an ice cream truck because it's hell and you want
a heist cream truck.
Yeah.
Get it?
And yeah, a heist cream truck. But when they finally pull off this heist, they kind of bit off more than they can chew and find out they have that not ice cream in the ice cream truck. Like the people in the ice cream truck were using it as like a cover. And so it just like it left off in a really interesting place because it does have to do with demons and angels, and it is In Hell We Fight is the title of it. And so I just kind of imagine this being a really fun kind of like I hate fairyland type story. And the art is just impeccable. It's like it makes you feel like you're watching like an Adult Swim cartoon in like the early 2000s. Like that's how I felt about it. I really, really enjoyed it. But yeah, the art inside is great. It's pretty reminiscent of what's on the front, but a little more detail. Yeah. So I really enjoyed that one. I know we had a couple other pals read that one this week as well. So excited to hear what they have to say about it. I know Kyle read it and talked about it as well. So
nice. Well, make sure you let us know in the comments below if you've read it, or yeah, if you want to read it. Make sure you do that. But yeah, the next one that I want to chat about is one that I picked up 2 weeks ago. So
okay,
I read this probably, I don't know, what time is it now? I read this like 2 hours ago. I was like organizing
so
my
it's
comic.
fresh.
Yeah, it's fresh in my head, which may be why I'm about to do what I'm about to do. But I read a lot of comics this week, and I won't say that many of them like really like jumped out at me with like a lot of like pizzazz and pizzazz. But this one I thought like I really enjoyed the art, the story, and so I'm going to go ahead and say that this is my
banger of the week.
Heyo,
because yeah, it is. It 100% is. It was just like this really fun time. I can't. Did I say the name of it? Feeder. It was Feeder. Let's see who it's by here. So it's interesting. On the first page here, it has at the bottom here, bottom feeder, noun, a fish that feeds on material at the bottom of a lake, sea, etc. to an objectable and unimpressive person or thing. So I thought that was like a really cool way to start this off. And the premise is about this guy here on the cover named Lee Kidd. So if you can see in the back, there's a poster there. It says Lee Kidd is back. And Lee Kidd used to be an actor. And he was in a bunch of superhero movies as this character called the Royal. And he decided that he wanted to try to do something a little bit more artsy, and he put a lot of his own money into it and became a producer on this movie. And then the movie tanked, and no one wanted to work with him anymore. So at the beginning of this, that's kind of where we find out that like throughout the comic. But at the beginning of the comic, he just goes into this like really like shady looking bar and tells somebody that he owes somebody money, and then he says he makes an excuse, and then the guy shoots him in the stomach. So he becomes an assassin, or a hitman or something like that, So
yeah,
the premise is ex-movie star becomes assassin. But when he goes back to the place of like the person who hired him to do the hit, it has like movie producers and directors there that like want to talk to him about getting him back in the movies, but then the guy sends him off to do like another hit. So I think it was just a lot of fun to be like, oh, this weird like this like guy is trying to be this guy was a movie star, became a hitman, and now like might becoming a movie star again,
Yeah.
So it was just a lot of fun. Normally, I don't.
It's in real life that would probably be like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, something like that. Normally,
That's a deadly guy.
that is a deadly guy. Normally, like this kind of art isn't really my favorite all the time, but this I really enjoyed it, and I just felt like it fit the world because it's kind of like grimy and like just
Oh yeah.
very like muggy.
Let me see
I guess.
the cover again.
Sure. There you go.
It kind of because like the cover kind of alludes to that it's going to be grim inside, but like the title being bright, it like contrasts what's inside.
Right. I feel like it might be like an homage to like old movie, like I want to say like a slasher, but like maybe more of like a, I don't know, something post slasher, more like action star kind of something or other.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'll have to pull up the names because I couldn't find them in the comic. I'm sure they're in there, but yeah.
I like the creators.
Yeah. It's from Sumerian Tablet. It was written by Mark Bertioli, and the art is by Daryl Kinkerim.
And that was just at your LCS a couple weeks ago.
Yep, and I saw it and I picked it up, and like it was 2 weeks ago. Really enjoyed it. So yeah,
nice. And what was the publisher one more time?
Sumerian.
Oh, Sumerian. Nice. Yep. I wish I got to see more Sumerian, honestly.
Yeah, they usually put out pretty good quality stuff for sure.
I probably only have 2 series from them, but like I really enjoyed them. I'm trying to think of which ones they were. Oh, no, not Blood and Violence. The one about the witch.
Witch Blood? I know Witch Blood. I don't think it's by them, but
Illusion Witch.
Illusion Witch. Interesting. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not really ringing any bells for me. But yeah. Anything else that you got into this week?
I did. I got into a lot. So everything that's sitting here behind me, I read in this last week. I did mention last week that I had 2 weeks worth of comics to catch up on, and boy, did I take it seriously. I didn't get through them all. I still probably have about 4 unread issues from the last 2 weeks. They're Star Wars ones, and so I know I'll get to them eventually.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think. Did you want to chat about Local Man at all?
Let's save it for number 6 because I'm assuming it's wrapping up next issue. I don't have a ton to say.
Yeah,
I'd rather just talk about it as a whole.
Yeah, I will say I think this is probably my favorite issue and cover of the series so far.
Yeah, the cover is definitely very good.
So I really like that, but I also got into Hunt Killer.
Can you talk towards the mic?
Sorry. Yes, I have a new mic, everybody, because mine for some reason decided to quit working today. So I'm borrowing my son's, and it's having to make do with a different mic. But yeah, so I read all these, but the things I actually want to talk about is I had some library deliveries in the last couple days.
Nice.
And one of them, I'm going to talk about both of them. So I'll start with this one. But if I had a banger of the week, this is it.
Oh God.
And, yeah.
Banger of the week.
And I know our pals over at the Comic Book Lair talked about this a few weeks ago, but I got into Stillwater Volume 1.
Nice.
And it's Chip Zdarsky, Ramon K. Perez, and Mike Spicer put this together. And it basically just the premise is around a town called Stillwater, but like the main character, whose name is Danny, he gets a letter of inheritance, and that he has to go to Stillwater for. Mm-hmm. And when he gets there, everybody's like, how did you like get here? How do you know about us? Like kind of like that vibe. It's like a really eerie vibe to the town. Like nothing has signs on it. Like he's trying to find the lawyer that sent the letter, but there's nothing clarifying. Here's the town lawyer. He even struggles to find like the town doctor for a moment. But before they enter town, they get pulled over by a cop. And he's just checking in on them. And he's like, guys, just don't, like, you're city boys, so don't get too, like, rowdy. Like, this town is old school. They have a curfew at 8 p.m. Right. So no partying. And these are city guys that, like, party. The other guy that goes along with him whose name I forget. He's like the CEO of like a really successful app.
Oh.
And so he has tons of money. So he's just like, yeah, I'll go with you for a week to this town to see what's up about your inheritance, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And then it kind of turns out that Danny is actually from Stillwater originally. And there's something special about Stillwater that the people of Stillwater don't want outsiders to know. And that's that they essentially have eternal life. Like so they can't die. So if they get shot in the face, they're going to heal. They have essentially Wolverine / Deadpool powers. They can just regenerate. If they get an arm cut off, like it grows back. They don't grow any more livestock because they can just cut the slab right off the live cow and it grows back on the cow. It's so like everything that has life to it essentially can keep on living. And so it's been like 30 plus years. Like a date mentioned in the book is the year that I was born. And
1994.
I was not born in 94.
I know.
I was born in 1986.
1986
and if I had my other 86er pals around me, we'd all go 86ers and high five.
That's 100% what would happen.
It is what happens. I promise you.
Nice. Good.
But yeah, no, I just like really enjoyed this. I like devoured it. I think it's a 5-issue collection. 6 issues. But yeah, I'm going to get volume 2. I think there's 3 volumes out in total. My library also has those. So I'll be checking those out as well. And I think I was just itching also to get into another Zdarsky. So
nice. That sounds pretty dope. I mean, I've listened to the PullBox Layers. Oh, I did it again. The Comic Book Layers podcast on that. It's great stuff. So check them out. Check that out. Good. Enjoy it all, my friends.
this is long enough.
And then I got into talked about this last week. I wanted to get caught up on this because I was hearing good things. Really was enjoying the covers. I'll say that I don't enjoy this cover as much as I do 2 and 4. But I started getting caught up on Phantom Road. I read issues number 2 and 3, and yeah, really enjoying them. It's like classic Jeff Lemire, in a sense of like I'm just really enjoying it. Like I don't know where it's going. It feels artsy, like I would even say it has like more life in it than like most Jeff Lemire stuff, because a lot of his stuff is very like quiet and like people don't really talk that much in between issues or like in between panels. But this was kind of like a normal comic, like a fair amount of dialogue and like characters interacting and stuff like that. But yeah, I've been enjoying this series for sure.
Right on. I wanted to, sorry, just real quick. Sure. I kind of keep forgetting that I'm the captain of this ship today. And our pal Ross hopped on here and he said, "Oh man, I picked that up. I have to get to it." I'm not sure if Ross was talking about Stillwater or what you were just talking about, but Ross, if you're still there, whatever you're talking about, throw it out in the comments, please. It's my first time captaining the ship.
Well, I can pull it up too.
But
yeah, you can pull it down. But yeah, what other comics did you get into?
So another one that I got another volume 1 from
just real quick, he was talking about Stillwater.
Oh, okay, good. Yes, Ross, definitely get into it. I'd love to hear your thoughts, man. But yeah, I also picked up Nice House on the Lake for my library.
Oh, okay. I've always been curious about this.
Yeah, so like I remember when issue 1 came out and I like really debated getting it. My shop had it at the time. Mm-hmm. And Ross is telling me that I'm doing great. Thank you, sir.
I'm pulling up the comments on that one, but yeah.
But yeah, so Nice House on the Lake, like I'm pretty sure it still takes place like in the DC universe because it is a DC Black Label. And at one point, somebody says something along the lines of, like Superman will just take care of it. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think that was exactly what was said, but it was just that was the gesture of it. Like usually when these things happen, like Superman takes care of it. And essentially what happens is this guy named is it Warren?
Couldn't tell you.
Walter. His name's Walter. He has this group of friends that he invites to this nice house on the lake. And something that was in common with all those friends is that he had a discussion with them at whatever point of their friendship was strongest with each of these people. He had asked them, how do you think the world's going to end? And so he had this discussion with everybody, and it turns out that he is actually like an alien. Like they don't really know what he is. They're still trying to like put that together, but he is of another species of sentient beings. So you can assume he's an alien from another planet. And he keeps like, there's like flashbacks when he's in high school with this like certain group of friends, and he like really wants to tell them, but he's really just like falling in love with them, because in order to do the job he needed to do, he had to become human and experience humanity, because he had to select the best of the best for like what would remain after his species destroys the rest of the world. And they all kind of get trapped in this like hexagonal, like nice house on a lake, and it doesn't make sense because they're supposed to be in like Milwaukee or something, and there's not mountains, but they're in like a mountainous like lake area.
Yeah.
And so they start putting all these like things together about like something's not right with our friend Walter. And some of them start coming out with like, I've always had suspicions based on conversations, and like conversations I've had with him that I've like forgotten about. And it was just like very thrilling. This is another volume that I just sat down and read it all the way through. So I actually read these both back to back.
Nice. That's
and
cool.
But yeah, so I know that there's more coming. So I don't know if the latest issue has come out yet, but I may try to hop on it, because I just really enjoyed A Nice House on the Lake. And I want to see what's going on with this Walter fellow and what his history and story is.
Nice. That sounds like a fun time. I mean, not a fun time, but a good time to read it, not to be in that world. But
and just so we're all aware, I don't think you'll be surprised about who wrote it, but it's James Tynion IV. It's like very much up his like alley of just writing a good like story with great characters and building up a lot of suspense as to like where the comic is going. Like I still had all those like same feels that I had when I first read like Something Is Killing the Children. I was just like, oh my gosh, like give me more.
Right.
And then the other creators on there are Alvaro Martinez Bueno and Jordi Belair.
Nice. I don't know them, but I'm sure that they do a good job.
They did a great job. And Alvaro was the artist and Jordi was the colorist. And the art's actually, now that we're talking about those guys, I really like the art. I'll show you a couple. These are just kind of at random.
But yeah, that is really nice.
They're kind of like sketchy and dull.
Yeah.
Like here's one with a little more color on it.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's very good.
And again, it's just great artists are able to characterize their characters and give them their own expressions and movements and all that. And that's very solid throughout A Nice House on the Lake.
Nice. That was a good way to wrap that up. The last one I think that I'm going to talk about is Hairball number 3. So this comic continues to be just spooky, like unsettling. This one wasn't as unsettling as like issues past. This was a little bit more of like a narrative dump, trying to figure out like the history behind this cat and all that stuff. But if you're into like comics that are like just like this reads like a movie, or like an indie movie or like a play or something like that. Like it's like we say, like it's very poetically written. There's like, you can feel like a kind of a beat to it. And there is like, this isn't much of a spoiler, but there's a time jump in this that kind of feels a little out of place. But I found out from my shop today that this is only a 4-issue run, which is terrific because we all know how I feel about them. And Yeah, I feel like it made sense that there was a time jump then, knowing that it's going to be wrapping up. But for some reason, the time jump, the way that they set up the time jump in the book, I've felt like, oh, is this going to be an ongoing series now? Because of like kind of some of the stuff that they were saying. But yeah, if you're into a story about a girl who's haunted by a cat, it's a very unsettling, fun time.
That's one for me that I like regret. I've said it so many times. I like regret not hopping on Hairball.
Yeah, but hey, that trade paperback will be a lot of fun. I can guarantee that.
I'm having so many just like technical issues during this episode. My microphone went out before. My headphones are telling me that they're dying, even though I just charged them not that long ago.
Oh no!
So
well,
I'm just.
You got any more? It's almost time to track down this horse and tickle him.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to like. I have both. Good grief. I read so much this week. I read like Eternus 4 came out. I love Eternus. I love that it's like this kind of fantasy story between like the Greco-Roman religions versus Christianity, and as Christianity takes over, and there's kind of like this battle of the gods going on as well. It's been a really fun read. Then Hunt Kill Repeat's kind of a similar theme and just like being Greek gods. I've been loving that. But yeah, no, I read so much this week. I don't know how to like dive into all of them. So.
Sure, that's fair. But I guess go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Ross said read volume 2. It ends at 13 and it's over. I believe he's talking about Nice House on a Lake.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll have to get on that as well. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed that, and I don't know. I've read. I guess I read a lot this week too, specifically with these volumes. These were recommended by pals, so like Ross and the guys over the Comic Book Lair. So
nice.
Always appreciate the suggestions.
Yeah, it is like a lot of fun getting those. So continue to throw them out. We'll continue to try to read them. But I think it is time that we take this horse down to the suggestion shop and let it have its feed of suggestions.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah,
that's a good one.
No, it's working.
Thanks, bud.
But yeah, so you can find us on all the socials. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us at the PullBoxPals. You can find me at mad_nerdy, and you can find Monk at that Monk guy. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitch. Obviously, we're on YouTube. That's what I think we talk about the most, is being on YouTube. You can listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or really wherever you want to listen to your podcasts. And we love the chatting. So hit us up in comments. And we both have been fairly inactive on Instagram, even though we usually are. But that's just life. But we will be continuing with more like little posts and stuff on Instagram, so check us out there.
Yeah, and I've been making reels and stuff, like the shorts on YouTube and stuff. So if you could share those around, help us out a little bit, that would be fantastic. That would help us out.
Heck yeah.
All right.
Well, as I always say,
I haven't read comics like these in years.
And that's a wrap.